All right, this is the beginning of chapter 8. So we're going to be talking about the revolution in Haiti, and this is the first half of section 1. Section 1 is all about nationalist revolutions and how they affect the West. And all of this can be traced back to the Enlightenment, the American Revolution, and the French Revolution. Without these revolutions, we wouldn't have these revolutions. So very, very impactful. All right, so this is the place that we're talking about. We're going to start talking about Haiti. Haiti is on an island, and it shares its island with the Dominican Republic. And, of course, it's a little hard to see, but if you can see that yellow star there, that's Port-au-Prince, which is the capital. And, obviously, you can look at all the words, and the words are in French. So Port-au-Prince is the capital of the French colony, which at the time was called Saint-Domingue. Haiti is the first Latin American territory to gain independence. Again, they're called Saint-Domingue, and the island itself at this time is called Hispaniola. And as you saw on the previous map, it's in the Caribbean Sea, not too far from Cuba. Mostly, this island is used as a giant sugar plantation. Sugar is very desirable in Europe. They love it. They have horrible sweet tooths at this time period. But getting sugar is insanely difficult and dangerous. The type of work is backbreaking. It is very laborious. You're hacking down sugar cane. In some cases, you're burning the field first, then you're hacking down the sugar cane, then you're boiling it. So you have huge kettles full of boiling water, like sugar water, and then you're distilling. I mean, it is really, really awful stuff. And you're doing this in a tropical setting. So it's hot. There's bugs. You're hacking through this sugar cane, which has very sharp leaves, so you're getting sliced up. It's brutal. Because of this, the population never regenerates. So they are consistently importing slaves to Saint-Domingue to make up for the ones that die. By this point, you have almost 500,000 slaves on an island with almost 30,000 of French citizens, or quote white people. So the non-slaves were seriously outnumbered. And most of these slaves, because who do you want to do this backbreaking, difficult work, are young males. So here you have all these young males on this island, and you've stolen them and captured them from Africa and brought them over. And if you were 18 to 20 in Africa, living in your society, in your tribe, you were more than likely a warrior. So what you're really doing is you're capturing all the warriors, bringing them to this small island. It's no wonder there was a revolution here.
Toussaint L'Ourverture was a very determined man. He was a very ambitious man, and in my opinion, he was a genius.
Toussaint is, I think, one of the most incredible figures that I know about in many ways. He's born on a plantation in Saint-Domingue. He grows up on that plantation.
That plantation was owned by a man who was tolerant for the times. Toussaint was taught to read and write as a child.
He eventually occupies a somewhat privileged role, if you can say that, on a plantation as a coachman, and has a kind of relationship with the managers and masters in some ways. He becomes free in the 1770s, so he's somebody who kind of occupied different roles in society. And I think that's the key for understanding Toussaint, is that he saw possibilities where other people didn't.
He had businesses, had contacts in the US and elsewhere, bank accounts, managed his affairs pretty well. The man was endless in organizational capacity. I mean, he would have been a fantastic CEO today.
Toussaint didn't record his first reactions to the revolution in France, but his fellow free Saint-Domingueans the white colonials and the mixed-race population were transfixed.
In 1789, there were about 40,000 white people and about 30,000 colored people who were, of course, their sons and cousins and so on and so forth, who were landowners themselves, many of them, slave owners themselves, many of them, very effective businessmen, many of them, involved romantically with the white master class.
One of the things that's important to remember about Haiti and race is it wasn't simply black and white. Instead, you had numerous gradations of color. One historian went so far as to give 110 categories of color, from absolute black to absolute white. And to each combination he gave a name: mulatto, quadroon, Mamaluke. And what he was accounting for was the drops of black blood.
Whites hoped for more control over the colony's governance, but the colony's mixed-race population hoped for more fundamental changes. They had been born free, but not equal.
They had to show physical respect for the white. Stand up when they are in presence of a white, call them Mr. or whatever title they wanted to have. It was not easy for them, and that's exactly why they were the first one, before the blacks, they were the first one to ask for equality.
The mixed-race population of Saint-Domingue decided their chance had come in 1791. They sent a petition to France's new government asking for the rights of citizenship.
This is a powerful message to have been taking place in a society that was explicitly organized on inequality. It's like dynamite.
The petition asked for civil protections, and it enraged the island's white population. Working-class colonists began a full-scale intimidation campaign. They threatened, beat, and murdered mixed-race residents in the capital. But the petition met a different reception back in Paris. The new breed of delegates in the National Assembly issued a landmark decree. They extended equal rights to the small population of mixed-race people born of two free parents.
All right, so what really happens? The French Revolution breaks out, and there's all this talk of, equality, liberty, fraternity, all the wonderful things we studied in the French Revolution, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen, and a rumor crosses the ocean that the King of France has freed the slaves. Which was not true. But again, all these slave owners are talking about, liberty and freedom and equality, and, that's going to get out. And so when the revolution breaks out in France, in about 1791, a bunch of slaves, 100,000 of them, rose up in rebellion. What is interesting to note about their rebellion is it was a timed rebellion, and one of the methods that we believe that these slaves used to communicate with each other from plantation to plantation was through drums, drum circles, using drums to send a message to each other. The rebellion force was led by a former slave, a guy named Toussaint L'Ourverture. He was, again, a freed slave, or he was a former slave, and he worked to become a skilled general. By 1801, he had overtaken the entire island and freed all of the slaves. Now, at this point, just to give you an idea of reference from the French Revolution, this is 1 year after Napoleon's coup d'etat in France. They would eventually name this new country Haiti, which in the native Arawak language, the Arawaks being the indigenous people that were there when the Spanish originally discovered the island, and then later on the French who would own it, who were completely worked to death and killed off by the colonial masters. The native Arawaks would call the island Haiti, meaning mountainous land. So what happens? As we saw before, in 1802, Napoleon is in desperate need of money. He's trying to build this massive French empire in Europe, and he needs money. So unfortunately, one of the best ways to get money is to continue selling sugar and that sugar plantation. And of course, if you don't have to pay people to work on the plantation, you can make even more money. So Napoleon tries to reclaim the former colony and reinstitute slavery. He sends his brother-in-law to command the forces. He sends a troop of 30,000, believing this will be no problem. And they land, and many of them die. Many die in the fight for freedom, but many more die from diseases like malaria, yellow fever, that they're not prepared for. So the fighting continues, and it is brutal. And one of the things that happens is L'Ouverture and the French agree to a ceasefire. And the French say, okay, if you stop fighting, we will end slavery. You can be French citizens, we will end slavery. Now, in spite of this agreement, they basically go back on their word. They capture L'Ouverture and they send him off to prison in the French Alps, where he dies in, I think it's 1803. So that was the picture of L'Ouverture, and this is the fighting, and you can see the rebellion force in Haiti stringing up French soldiers.
François-Dominique Toussaint.
Général Toussaint L'Ourverture.
J'ai été chargé personnellement par Bonaparte, premier consul, d'établir un rapport sur votre conduite à Saint-Domingue.
On va pas échapper à la guerre, Suzanne. Des milliers d'hommes sont en train de se rassembler et crier vengeance contre les Blancs.
Faut chapeler de ça. Pas jamais pédi. Ou alors pédi moutou.
Si tu crois que c'est ce que tu dois faire, alors fais-le.
C'est l'abolition où Saint-Domingue sera livré aux puissances étrangères.
Citoyens de Saint-Domingue, je vais remettre tous les ouvriers au travail dans les plantations. Je vais faire renaître l'espoir.
Vous feriez ça?
J'ai décidé de doter Saint-Domingue d'une constitution.
Je vous protégerai contre vous-même.
Qui tu es pour me donner des ordres?
Depuis que tu es gouverneur, tu ne sais plus comment les gens vivent autour de toi.
Avec le premier consul, il est l'homme le plus extraordinaire que j'ai rencontré. Une force étrange s'est emparée de lui. Une force que rien ni personne ne peut raisonner.
C'est la France entière qui vient à Saint-Domingue.
All right. With L'Ouverture dead, his second in command rises to the front, and his name is Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and he is the one who actually gets the honor of declaring Saint-Domingue its own independent country. And so what happens is he declares it the country of Haiti, and Haiti becomes the first colony to be run entirely by former slaves and to win their independence. And because the democracy that they establish is a democracy for everyone, Haiti is considered one of the first real democracies in the Americas. And that makes them very important. All right, we are going to continue tomorrow looking at the revolutions that were sparked by the French Revolution. And we're going to look at all the drama that Napoleon caused in South America. How did he do that? I'm going to tell you.